Hi guys, it's Paul here from Nirvana Central, back with another video for you. Don't worry, I'm not got the guitar out today, I'm not going to sing at you. So it's just going to be more of a talking one today, and it's going to be about what Kurt Cobain was really like as a person. So if you want to find out a bit more about that, if you want to find out why I think what he was like as a person is actually what makes him so fascinating and such an enduring icon in music, then keep watching and we'll get all into that in a little bit. Okay, so the title of the video is What Was Kurt Cobain Like as a Person? Now, just to be completely upfront with everybody, I'm going to be totally honest, I don't actually know personally for sure, because I've never met him. I've never, when he was alive, talked to him, had anything to do with him. I've never talked to anybody personally who knew him, any of his bandmates, any of his friends, anything like that. So I want to be totally upfront and totally honest and just say, I can't say. But as a huge Nirvana fan, I've read a lot of interviews, all the major books, seen a lot of articles online, seen stuff on forums about people who have met him. So I've picked up a lot of second-hand information, if you want to call it that, about what he was like as a person. So that's really what I'm going to base what I'm saying on, but I want to be upfront about that. So I would say, from what I can gather, is that he was just a human, a normal person. I think that can sometimes, I don't know, shock people, because there is this tendency with people we look up to, or famous people, or people we're fans of, to put them on a pedestal as a person and to it's idolise them, I suppose. But I think you have to separate, when it comes to somebody like a musician, somebody in that field, you have to separate the person and the artist in a way. So I think it's absolutely, I do myself, I think it's fine to look up to him as an artist and to almost put him on a pedestal as an artist, because in my opinion, he is an absolute genius as a songwriter, as a front man, as a live performer. I think he, for me, is probably the best ever. So I think from that point of view, as an artist, it's fine to do that. But I think as a person, it's important to remember he was just a person, he was a human. And that's not trying to denigrate him or have a go at him or downplay him in any way. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but I just think when people say, "Oh, well, I wonder what he was like. What was he really like?" I think he was just a human, just like you and me. Sometimes he was happy, sometimes he was grumpy, sometimes he was down, sometimes he was full of energy, sometimes he was chatty, sometimes he liked to be alone. Just all those things that we all are. So in that respect, as a person, he was just like you and me, I think. And that's not trying to downplay his artistic gifts. He was obviously special in that sense. But as I say, if we're saying, well, what was he really like, to hang out with, to live with, to be in a band with, or whatever, I think he was just normal. He was just a person. Okay, guys, so this is the last part of the video now, because I don't want to labour the point too much. I think I've probably summed up what I believe myself. But this, I think, is important. The fact that he was a normal human with a range of normal human emotions, and like all humans, a dark side, a light side, a side that could be happy and generous, a side that could be grumpy, You know, I think Chris is on record as saying he could be very cutting with his remarks and sort of a bit mean-spirited at times if he's in a bad mood, I guess. But it's because he had that light and shade, and because he was just like his audience, just a normal person, that I think he connected so well with everyone and his legacy has lasted. I think it's a lot like other artists. If you look at somebody like Tupac, the rapper, who I'm also a big fan of, I like rap music as well. Probably not mentioned that before, but he was the same. He was a contradiction, if you like, but humans are, we all are, aren't we? You know, look at Tupac. 1 minute he could be releasing Brenda's Got a Baby and talking about uniting communities and everybody being together, and the next minute he could be releasing Hit 'Em Up and, you know, talking about thug life and involved with death row and gangster rap and what have you. And it's that same light and shade again. And I think what happens is with people like Tupac or like Kurt, because of that, not only do people see themselves in them, so they connect to him and they see him as real and authentic, but also I think it just makes it more interesting, to be honest with you. Because if somebody's always one thing, if somebody's always you know, happy and upbeat, it gets a bit boring after a while. In the same way, somebody's always the other side, somebody's always horrible and mean and grumpy, it gets a bit boring. But if people have got both sides, and I guess sometimes you don't know what you're going to get, I guess it's interesting because you go and see them live or you bump into them or whatever, and there's that unpredictability of, oh, well, just like anyone else, depending on what mood they're in, this could happen or that could happen. So I think there's that to it as well. So I think the lasting legacy of Kurt, certainly in terms of how connected people feel to him and how much love people have for him, even now, I think a lot of it is just because he was human. People could see that. They could see, just as we have our own faults and we're all human and we just try to do our best in life, they could see he was the same. And I think that really is something people resonated with. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching. As always, I really appreciate each and every viewer, new, old, and everything in between. If you fancy doing me a huge favour, please remember to subscribe and to also like and share. Always love reading your comments as well, so drop me a comment, see what you think about this, especially if you have actually met Kurt in the past, obviously. Let me know what he was like, or if you not have any first-hand knowledge or you know people who knew him, drop me a comment and tell me what you know or what you think. See you later.